you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And about 1982, Super Breakout comes out, right? Super Breakout is important. Super Breakout is really, really good. Super Breakout is the quintessential block breaking game. Got a paddle at the bottom of the screen, ball, bunch of blocks, break all the blocks in a level, go to the next level. Simple formula, and it works well. Arkanoid comes out 1985, I want to say, 85, 86. Arkanoid takes that formula, adds power-ups, adds little enemies, makes it perfect. Everybody else can go home. Arkanoid is the standard. Taito has done sequels and follow-ups to Arkanoid. Other publishers, other developers have just completely bit off of what Taito did with Arkanoid. Today's game is Konami's attempt to bite off of the formula created by Taito with Arkanoid. It was originally released in 1986 on the Famicom, and it was released in Europe and Australia in 1991. You may be wondering, Mr. Animal, why didn't we get... you didn't mention the US release date? Because we didn't get this. This was one of those games that Konami just looked at and said, nah, they don't need that. Just like all the Goldmine games that we didn't get here in the States. Just like Crisis Force. Just like Getsu Fumaden. Kid Dracula. All these different things that Konami just neglected to give us. Because Konami always secretly hated our guts. But in Europe, this was published under the Palcom software label. Because Konami just had shell corporations publishing stuff to get around limits. In the US, they did it with Ultra. In Europe, they did it with Palcom. What we gonna do? As long as they're giving us the good games, we don't care. But yeah, this was 1986, and 5 years later in 1991, because that's how it happened sometimes. Today, we're going to take a quick look at Crackout. First of all, this is a weird title for a game, but ain't my business. The game is solid. Like I said, it takes the Arkanoid formula and turns it to 11. There's also a cute little sci-fi storyline in here, much like Arkanoid. In the year 30XX, because of course, Earth has depleted all of its metal reserves, any metals that they needed were gone. We used them all. And so humanity takes to the stars to look for other places where they can harvest metal reserves to keep humanity going. They find an alien world that's rich in minerals, go there, not realizing aliens were lurking. Said aliens want to protect what they got and keep humanity out. I don't blame them. And they set the self-destruct on whatever this vessel is that humanity has gone there in. In order to stop this, you have to put in a 14-digit code. Said code is hidden in corridors and walls, and it's just hidden. It's ducked off, and it's 14 digits. So you got to get to work. So your paddle is actually a spaceship. Over the course of the game, you collect power-ups, the spaceship changes. The paddle gets longer, you can fire weapons, you can fire extra balls, stuff like that to keep yourself competitive when it comes to breaking these blocks and to help you fight off the enemy threat that's lurking around levels. All that said, Crackout is solid, especially for an Arkanoid clone. Soundtrack is sparse, but it's an Arkanoid clone. I mean, they could have put music in there, and I'm surprised they didn't because it was Konami, and Konami soundtracks typically were solid. But we didn't get a soundtrack. We didn't get much in the way of a soundtrack. I'm not gonna say we didn't get a soundtrack. Game was okay. It was fun enough, but we also got Arkanoid. We also got Thunder and Lightning. We got a bunch of unlicensed tripe. So we got what we needed in terms of breakout clones on the NES. Crackout would have been very welcome. We didn't get it. Big whoop. Now we can have a conversation with Konami about some of that other stuff they didn't bring to the US. We should have a talk with them about that because they playing some bald-headed games in our face. But now, if you decide you want to get yourself a copy of Crackout, first of all, make sure that I gotta preface this every time I talk about an import of worth, because you know, talking about stuff like Lion King and Aladdin, you shouldn't even want that. Them games are terrible. But in terms of Crackout, it's a solid video game. If you want a copy of Crackout, it's about less than $20, like $15 to $20. You can get a cart. Now you're gonna have to pay for shipping for that thing, but it's a decent game, and it's cheap. So go get yourself a copy of Crackout. It's cheaper than getting a copy of Arkanoid. Let me tell you, it's much cheaper. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah, there were 2 Peter Pan games on the NES. Hopefully this one's not as bad as the other one. I'm praying this one's not as bad as the other one. Lord.